So this is going to be kind of a follow-up video to our Santa Claus gift treat boxes that I made on a previous video. In that video, I discussed some of the other ways that you could possibly decorate gift and treat boxes for the holidays. And this is going to be a snowman and a nutcracker. Hi, and welcome to Ivycreates. We're going to be making the coolest stuff today and absolutely adorable. So let's get started on that. And the first thing we're going to do is take a Pringles can and we're going to paint it white with a couple of coats of white till you can't see Pringles anymore. And we're going to be working hard on that. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. All of our videos are posted and you can go and look at all the different ones and share it with your friends so that they know and can take a look and see if they want to make some of these items too. Now this paint that I tried to use unfortunately was solid. I don't know why, but it was. Anyways, I just added water to it to get it thinned out so I could put it white on the, and it's just a white paint. Just use any old white paint will do. I prefer matte paints over others, so that's just what I do. And you can even go back and add snow text or different types of textures to this if you wanted to. If you want to go back and put spackling paste on it, you can do that too, because that's a good substitute for snow, as well as, of course, the glitter. I got to add the magic. So I'm just going to paint the Pringles can and then we'll go from there. Now, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. So I picked up some supplies and things from Hobby Lobby and generally from all over the place. Dollar General, Dollar Tree, and you can see that was the Pringles can I used, and that's how it ends up looking after you paint it good and white. Then I got some pom-poms from Hobby Lobby, and these were small pom-poms to use as if they were like the little pieces of coal and stuff. And the ribbon is from Dollar Tree, except for the big shiny one that I just showed. The silver one is from Hobby Lobby. These were some other things I found at Hobby Lobby. Evidently, there you can decorate your snowmen, all kinds of snowmen. I found all kinds of parts, and those are actually carrot noses for our snowman. I found top hats, which were fantastic, and the Google eyes I got from the Dollar Tree. And this hat here came from Dollar General, and it was just an ornament for $1. And I thought, oh wow, that would be a really cool hat to put on top of my Pringles snowman. So we're just going to put on all of these goodies, and it takes absolutely no time. This is something fun you can do either by yourself or for do it with some kids. After taking the pipe out, I decided it was a little too big for our snowman. So you'll see in a second. This is a fun project, and a lot of times it's, you can't spend a ton of money on, say, a present, but you can get these, or you might even have these supplies around your house, and use what you have. You might use sticks or cotton balls, or I actually used a pom-pom for the top of the hat just to cover up where the hanger for the ornament was. And right now I'm going to glue the chenille stem around the lid edge of the Pringles can. That's only so that you don't see it and so that it kind of blends with the hat and everything. Because I didn't paint the lid, of course. I wanted to make sure that the lid went on and off pretty easily. So I'm just going to glue the chenille stem to the top of the lid and leave it on there while I'm doing it. And then I'll take it off in just a second and glue the hat on. So once it's good and glued down, and I'm pretty confident with it, I check it for any extra glue and use my cuticle clippers to make sure the extra glue is all picked off of it. And that's just to make it easier to go on and off the Pringles can. Now, in my other gift boxes that I made out of Pringles cans, I put slits in the lids to make them piggy banks underneath the Santa hat. This one is not going to be able to do that because I'm gluing the hat directly to the lid. But just to keep in mind, you can always make them like piggy banks. And that comes out really cute. Now this is by far probably one of my favorites because I am very partial to snowmen. And I don't know why, because I live in the very deep south on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And quite frankly, if we see snow in 20 years, that'd be an amazing thing. In fact, I had my daughter when she was in high school, and I let her skip school and stay home with me the day that it snowed an hour and a half north of here, so we could go up there and she could get the experience of making a snow person. And when we went up there, it was a state park, and the state park was like full of, evidently other parents had thought the same thing. And so from the time you drove into the state park and all the way through and around on all the docks that went to the lake, there were snow people everywhere. It was the funnest, well, it's not even a word, but it was the most fun thing ever. So now I am gluing on the mouth, and I glued on the nose and the eyes. And this is just my little small pom-poms, and I went directly below the nose and down to make the bottom of the smile of my snow person. So they're going to have just a little bit of a smile, not a whole lot. So I'm just gluing the pom-poms to give them their little smile. Y'all, and it's terrible. I buy these tiny things like these tiny pom-poms, and now after I use them on this project, I have no earthly idea where I put them. If it's small, I tend to lose it. It's horrible. So, anyways, this is going to be what our snow person's face looked like, our snowman, and he's adorable, absolutely adorable. And, you know, these make excellent decorations. You can sit them up on your mantle until it's time to give to someone. You can put little gift tags on them or not, and it's a good way to hide presents so people don't know that you have their present. And the kids won't necessarily go looking if you do this without them knowing. So now I'm just trying to find a way to tie the scarf on for my snow person. And I was working on it, and I couldn't quite get it the way that I wanted to tie it and knot and everything. And I ended up tying a square knot, but I turned it around upside down to get the best perspective on how to tie the knot. Sometimes you got to do that, and especially for us left-handed folks, we don't always tie everything straight like it's supposed to be tied. So I tied them like that, and then they still weren't quite hanging the way that I wanted them to. So I go back and put several dabs of glue to make it hang straight the way that I wanted it to. Yeah, I think I was probably maybe 4 or 6 the last time that it significantly snowed here, and that was several inches of snow. I was a little kid, I do remember that, and I am 50, about to be 51, so that tells you a lot about our area. We do get cold weather, we just don't get snow. So now I've taken my chenille stem and I folded it in half to 2 lengths that I thought would be good for arms. And then I put a little crook in the end so I'd have more to glue it to, basically. And I wanted to glue the ends, glue it on the sides to make his arms. So now I just bend them, kind of supposed to be random. Nothing I ever do ends up random. But I bent them like sticks, kind of, to make them look that way. And then I'm going to take the leftover chenille and I'm just going to spin it around between my thumb and my forefinger in a circle to make a button. And chenille is good for that. You can make it do all kinds of crazy things. So I just spun it around until it looked like it would be about the right size and everything. And then if you make it too large, you can always cut more off, and then just glue it onto the front for his buttons. That's our snowman. Isn't he adorable? He is absolutely the cutest thing. Now here, I didn't glue this well enough and his eyeball popped off, so I had to get some more glue and put his eyeball back on. Evidently I didn't put enough glue the first time. So but came out so stinking cute. I was really, really pleased with this one. And you can see the lid still comes off. And so you can put your goodies down in there, whether it be candy, Tootsie Rolls, money, nuts, whatever you want to put in there. So the second thing I'm doing is my Nutcracker. And these are the Great Value drink containers from Walmart. And I did paint them, but I didn't like the way it was scratching too easy because I didn't really prime it or anything. And I didn't want to go back and do it. I was being lazy, so I decided just to cover it. And it turns out covering it is the best option. So I'm gluing 2 of them together. And the tops still come off. You can still open them and all of that good stuff. And I always make sure to be careful and that you can still get into it. And I didn't have any red felt. I was looking for red felt, but thanks to COVID, I have thousands of bandanas laying around. And so I'm using a bandana instead of felt. You use what you have around your house. You just do. So now I'm only going to glue the top portion underneath the lid of the top portion and above the lid of the bottom. And that is because I want to make sure again that it comes apart when it comes time to put stuff in there. And this is lots of fun because you can, you're hiding a gift and also making an adorable decoration. And the kids may not even know that there's anything in it for them. They just might think it's weighted, or even the adults, if you want to give them that. It is, these things are big enough for small, tiny little liquor bottles, not necessarily a wine bottle or anything of the sort. But you could put other goodies in there as well. And these are the drink mix containers for the sugar-free drinks and stuff. They come in these plastic containers, and I have lots of them because I use them all the time, and I've needed to find uses for them. So that's what we're doing. We're making the Nutcracker. You can see now I'm gluing the back. I went around the top because I wanted it very close to the lid up top, and the bottom is not going to really be that obvious, but I wanted it around the top. And so I glued it all really good. So next I've got some cream colored felt that I had from another project that I used, for the Santa Claus faces in my Santa Claus gift and treat, cans. And so I just cut it basically in a half circle. Doesn't have to be perfect, however you want it. And I put it right below the lid of my Nutcracker piece. And now I'm going to take some stiff felt that I had, stiff sparkly felt, and I'm just going to glue it to the top as the head of our Nutcracker. And this is just scraps that I had left over, and this is trying to show you just use whatever you have. You don't have to go and buy anything. You can always make something out of nothing. I can, at least. I try to recycle what I have, and if I have leftovers, I want to make sure that I can use them. Now you can see this does not come around all the way to the back. If it had been really short, I probably would have gone and gotten another piece. But I thought that this was okay because it's going to have the back and the front. So I did pin it down though, so it wasn't so obvious in the back. Pinned it down with some glue. Now anytime you're using glue, be very, very careful because it is very hot, and I can't tell you how many burns a week I actually get from glue guns. I mean, non-stop, constantly. But be very careful. So now I've taken the bottom off, and I want to put some pants on my Nutcracker because they typically have some bright blue pants. So I'm going to put those by folding this felt in half and then cutting it. And I checked to make sure that it would fit around the bottle around the canister before I cut it. So I want to line this part up with the bottom of the canister because this will show, but the top won't. So it doesn't matter what the top looks like, it matters what the bottom looks like on this one. So I wanted to make sure it was all lined up to the edge of the bottom before I glue anything else at the top. So that way when it's standing up and sitting up, you will just see that it's got, it's clean at the bottom. And so now I go back and I glue the top part and glue the side and pull it out and make sure it's really good and smooth before I finish the last little bit of glue, and I didn't want anything showing around the edge or anything from the back. Alright, so now I just put the bottom back in its place and below the top of the Nutcracker, and I'm going to start to add some of the embellishments for him, and that is going to be his boots. First thing I think I did was his boots. So this is going to be the high point of his boots, and then I'm going to do a little toe piece in a second by just cutting out two, again, of the little semicircles. Or you could cut a circle and then cut it in half, however you want to do it. I just find it's easy to fold it over and cut, and that way they're the same size and everything. If you fold anything over and cut, makes it automatically the same size. So it's much easier to see. So you can see how that looks kind of on the toes, and I think I trimmed them up some more once I got them ready to be glued down. So you can see I'm just using a little bit of glue on the glue gun. Also about glue guns, when you put the googly eyes on, please be careful, because a lot of times when you press the glue down, and if it's too hot on the googly eyes, it'll just glue them in place and they won't move. Which is okay. I mean, that's quite alright. But it's just if you want them to move, you might want to use E6000 if the glue's too hot. Hey folks, if you haven't done it already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you won't miss out on any of our future videos. And you know, we want to know if you're here and how you like our projects. So please go ahead and comment down below and let me know what you think about my project and how we did. So now I'm taking, again, the stiff felt, and I'm going to actually cut a belt for my Nutcracker. And I'm just trying to see how to fit it around his little waist. And this is the pretty shiny sparkly felt. I think it was like 99 cents at maybe Hobby Lobby. So very easy to find, not hard to find at all. And it's stiffer, and that helps with a lot of cool things, you know, a lot of different things as far as building stuff with felt. Now, I didn't have quite enough to go completely around his waist with the scrap that I'm using, so I glued a little bit to the back, and then I'm going to glue the belt over the top of that, and you will not even be able to tell. It'll be completely hidden. And that's one of the things, again, about using scrap materials that you may have laying around. You know, nothing goes to waste. We're just going to glue it all together, and it'll make it very nice and pretty. By the time we get done, it'll look just perfect. So I'm gluing this at the spot where the lid would be for my container number 2, the bottom part of the container. And I'm gluing it, but I'm also making sure that I can still open the container and all that good stuff. So now I have one of those permanent white chalk markers. And all I'm going to do on this is kind of highlight the toe box of the boot that are on my Nutcracker. I noticed that in the picture I was referencing, I referenced a picture to do this, and they had a little bit of shading on the boots, and they didn't do this. I mean, they just had a, you know, like a I don't even know what you call it. It was done on a pair of shutters. So that's the picture that I was referencing. I always try to look at a picture while I'm doing something if I can. Even though I'm not doing the same thing, I want to have something to reference it by. And I don't have Nutcracker sitting around the house, so I used a picture. So now I'm just going to take my gold chenille stem, and I'm going to put that in the shape of a square on the belt buckle, so it'll look like it has a shiny gold belt buckle. So this is a Q-tip, and I was trying to look for things to make into the arms, and I wish I could have found maybe a larger Q-tip or something, but I painted them red and then I painted one end of them black, and so that the hand part was the white cotton, and put it on the sides of my Nutcracker as his arms. I kind of wish after the fact I would have had something a little bit bigger, but that's what we got. That's what I have around the house is Q-tips, and so that will be my Nutcracker's arms. And I go back and get some chenille stem, some black chenille stem to kind of beef up his shoulders and the sleeves on my Nutcracker. And again, I'm just taking 2 little pieces, making sure they're even, and then I spin it around in my finger until I make a circle, and round it out, and that makes the puffiness of my little sleeve on my Nutcracker. This is very easy to do. It does take a little practice. The key to it is making sure that the chenille stem is close enough to the other chenille stem and you're making a tight enough circle. So I just glue that down to the sides, and that's my arms for my Nutcracker. He's starting to take shape. The Nutcracker, I will say, takes a little bit longer to take shape and for you to understand what he's going to look like as a finished product. It's kind of difficult. But he comes out super adorable. So I pull out some more googly eyes. Now I could use anything for eyes for my creatures. I just happen to like the googly eyes, and I don't know if it's because I like saying googly eyes or if it's because I just like the way they move. But you could paint eyes. You could use you could use the chenille stem thing like I did on the sides for the shoulders. You could do a number of different ways to make eyes. So it's all in however you want to do it. So now I'm trying to figure out the rest of his face, what his face is going to look like. Most of the Nutcrackers have like a beard, and you usually see some cheesy looking teeth. I didn't end up putting teeth on him, but I did do the goatee and the little mustache that they end up getting. So for some other things that I did as well, I did his jewel, like the front of the buttons on his shirt. I made those out of the gold chenille stems, and as well as the chains on his hat. And it's all about getting a look. It's not necessarily about having an exact thing. You want an overall look, and when you put it all together, if it has an overall look of what you're going for, then you've succeeded. It doesn't have to be exact. You can't say, well, I can't make this because I don't have gold chains to put on the top. No, find something else that works, something that is similar and will just make the overall look for you. Because after all, these are supposed to be gift boxes. They don't have to be, historically accurate Nutcrackers. We're just going to make it to look similar, because we're going to fill this with whatever gift we want to give the person, and these are like the bonus decoration. Of course, do make it look the best you can, because you do want the gift packaging to really stand out. A lot of times it doesn't even matter what's in the gift packaging. If the gift looks really fabulous, the people are just really super excited about that part of it, and that makes them, it could be just candy inside and they'll be just as happy with it. So now I've put my little chains and the closures for the front of our outfit on our Nutcracker. So I'm going to spin some more chenille stems into circles. And those are going to be the buttons for the hat on the red chenille stems, so they show up on the black hat. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on our videos. We greatly appreciate the support. Any kind of support you can give us, you can follow the links below. That is always supporting for us. Now, the red chenille stems that I wound in a circle are going to be the buttons for the hat that hold the gold chain, in this case chenille, and that's just the extra decoration for the hat. And then I repeat with the same thing with the black chenille down the buttons as buttons for the shirt. Just like I did for the snow person or snowman, I take the chenille and cut it all the same length so that I know that they're the same size when I wind them up. That's why it's important to cut them the same length. So when I wind them up, they're all the same size. And I cut as many as I need. And then just apply them on top of the gold chenille stem to make for buttons on his shirt. And it's very easy to do once you get used to it. You just fold it between your thumb and your forefinger, like I said, and in a flat motion in a round circle. Chenille stems are great for a lot of things. They're also known as pipe cleaners. They used to be known as pipe cleaners. Or if you get them from Dollar Tree, they're called, tinsel wire or something like that, which I thought was an interesting new name. So, you know, you can use them. I've seen a lot of people use them to tie bows, which I do have a bow making video. You can check that out. It tells you how to make several different types of bows. So now you can see I've glued on our little buttons for the front of his shirt. And I'm just going to go back in with my white permanent chalk marker and add the laces for the boots of the Nutcracker. And that's just going back and forth and making X's and then making little dots to show where they're laced. Super easy. So now I have put a little bill on the hat, and that was just, again, another little semicircle, and I highlighted it with my chalk marker. So now I'm going to go ahead and make some eyebrows, because, you know, any good Nutcracker has some serious looking eyebrows. And I'm again using the black chenille stems just to put on some eyebrows, and all I did was fold them in half and to kind of make it look a little thicker. Fold the little pieces in half, and then I'm going to go ahead with my chenille stems on the mustache and the goatee. And he's really starting to get there as far as looking like a Nutcracker. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked it, and you know, I'll be posting many more videos because I'm always having ideas about different things. And the thing is I don't get an idea about one way to do something. I get an idea about 5 ways to do something. So I could do the same thing and do it 5 different ways because I've always got different ideas about it. So now you can see I'm just folding over my mustache piece on my Nutcracker. And I'm folding it over, and I folded it back one time just to make sure that I had plenty of hair to cover on the mustache. And then I'm doing one side by side, exactly the same, so they'll be exactly the same length and size. So now I can kind of mold and shape the mustache pieces, and you know, make sure one end is kind of rounded and the other end kind of comes to a point, and that it's full. So it's really easy. I twisted the end that it's coming to a point so that it would stay all together, and I do the same for the other side. And after I glue them on, I ended up like curling up the tips a little bit just to make the mustache look cuter, you know, curled a little bit to the side. And I didn't realize it, but when I got done, and stay tuned to the end, of course, for the final product pictures. But when I got it all done, my snowman looks like he's going, "What?" And my Nutcracker looks like really worried. And I don't know why. It's funny the expressions that they have after the fact. Now you can kind of see where I'm going with it. And I'm just, because it's chenille stem, you can adjust it however you want to adjust it. And make it look however you want to make it look, is because it's all wired. So that's really awesome. Now at this point I could have been done, but no, I had to add a little bit more, and because I like to be a little bit extra. And you can see I'm just curling the tips, the end tips on my mustache. And if you have any lifting anywhere, just make sure you glue it down. And the pink thing on my finger is actually from the Dollar Tree, and there is a link to the Dollar Tree below. But it's from the Dollar Tree, and it is a silicone fingertip, and it keeps your fingertips from burning. I wish I'd had those in the 50 years or so, almost, well, I should say 40 years of being in flower shops. That would have been nice, because my hands are just scarred to pieces from burns. And so now I'm just making a goatee, and I'm doing the same process that I did for each of the mustache sides. I'm just making it a little bit bigger and thicker, and I wrapped it around the bottom. Instead of pulling it back and forth, I just wrapped more chenille around the bottom to make it a thicker looking goatee. And I'm just going to glue that right below where the mustache is. And about the mustache, you want to kind of make sure that it's really close together, but not exactly touching. And I'm just double checking everywhere to make sure that it is staying down where I want it to stay down. So that, my friends, is going to be our Nutcracker gift box, treat box, whatever you want to call it. I did go and add some chenille pieces down the side of the face to look like hair. I did do that in the end. I don't think I caught it on video, but please stay tuned for the pictures at the end, and you'll get to see exactly what they look like. Thank you very much for watching. Hi, did you click that subscribe button and the notification bell? Well, if you don't hit that notification bell, you will miss out on our Thursday videos. So please go ahead, click it, and you'll be able to watch our videos that are coming up.